This episode will be completely taken out of context. Welcome to the Fact Check This podcast.
All right, Fact Check This daily, and I'm going to talk about Elon and Germany and Great Britain and all of that tomorrow. But today, with California on fire, I figured it would be interesting to talk about a headline that has been getting shared around. It's from a NPR, not article exactly. It's from It's from a interview or a piece that was done by NPR. So I'm just gonna listen to the piece because it's not. It's, I don't know, sort of interesting. But I wanted to talk less about the specifics of this program that California started and more the idea of white male dominated jobs and stuff like that. So we're going to just pull this up right quick. And like I said, we'll listen to this. I thought about reading it, but it's just a transcript and it's awkward to try to go back and forth reading a fucking transcript. So we'll just let her play. So about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. Here you go.
Firefighting departments nationwide have tried to diversify their ranks for years. They have made only modest progress. Today, the profession remains overwhelmingly white and male. From member station KQED, Farida Javala Romero reports on one program in California that's trying to change that.
I first met Lupe Duran in 2017, just weeks after his home was destroyed by a massive wildfire in Northern California. The 23-year-old welding student was overwhelmed with loss, sleeping on relatives' couches. But the disaster made Duran realize he didn't want to feel powerless against any fire.
Well, it was the feeling of wanting to do more, wanting to actually help and give back to the community.
Today, he's well on his way to becoming a firefighter paramedic. He's enrolled in a unique program preparing people of color and women for careers in the fire service. It's called Fire Foundry, a nonprofit collaboration between Marin County and area universities.
All team, you ready?
At a rope rescue training in a redwood forest, a female recruit rappels off a ravine near a creek. Once at the bottom, she puts a harness on a colleague pretending to be in need of rescue. And from the top of the cliff, Duran and the rest of the team pull on a rope until the two are back on the trail.
Okay.
On a break, Duran says he's excited to learn these skills from professional firefighters. But he says their mentorship and connections are key, too.
The captains you meet, the battalion chiefs you meet, you can't really get that exposure just walking in off the street. Unless you know somebody that is in the fire department, which really makes a difference.
This one-year program is different in that it pays for everything, from prerequisite classes and books to career guidance and even housing at fire stations. Recruits also work clearing brush and trees that fuel wildfires. And that income was a game changer for Duran, who was struggling to switch careers while working as a landscaper full-time.
So we're working right now. We're actually getting paid to do this training through our program, which is an awesome difference. The experience, is, I can't put a value on the experience that we're learning right now.
Nationwide, more than 90% of firefighters are men, and about 85% are white, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. In California, big city departments such as Los Angeles and San Francisco are more diverse, following discrimination lawsuits and settlements that took years. But Marin County's fire department today is still more than 80% white. Marin County Fire Captain Rick Wanneberger says expanding diversity will help them be more effective as firefighters.
My engine, currently we're all English speakers. Some of us can speak a little bit of Spanish, but how much better would it be if I truly was fluent? How much that person would feel truly at ease.
As for Duran, he's getting closer to his goal. He's completing an emergency medical technician course. He's set to get a fire technology degree. And he just got a seasonal job with the county, inspecting homes for wildfire defense.
Oh, it's very exciting. I mean, it's all I've wanted for the past 6 years. So it's, took some time, but it's paying off now.
The Fire Foundry program is just over a year old, but long-term funding is in question. Duran says he worries other people coming up behind him won't get the chance he got. For NPR News, I'm Farida Jabala Romero in Marin County.
So there you have it. Very interesting program, I guess. Here's the thing, though. They talk about how expanding diversity will help us become more effective as firefighters. And yes, I understand. In California, for instance, not having any Spanish speakers on your crew is probably a massive problem. Probably similar in Texas in some parts as well. But when you talk to other firefighters, which is similar to when you talk to men in the military, the reason that these types of careers tend to be very much dominated by men in particular is that there's a certain level of physicality that is required for the job. And as a lot of male firefighters and men in the military who have trained and worked alongside women will often say privately, and even some are willing to express it publicly, when shit hits the fan, when you're in a fire, in a bad situation, when you're under fire in a bad situation, when somebody needs to pick up another person from your team and get them the fuck out of a bad situation, or you have to pick up another human being to rescue them from a bad situation, they don't have a lot of faith in women in those fields. So some fields are male dominated, and maybe diversity is not a strength in those. And then when you look at some other jobs, so this is according to the Bureau of Labor, this is the widest jobs in the country. Property appraisers, ranchers and farmers, millwrights, archivists, editors, floor installers, heavy vehicle mechanics, crane and tower operators, paramedics, veterinarians, machinists, cabinet makers, construction managers. These are some of the widest jobs, and interestingly enough, these are also very male dominated. Property appraisers, ranchers and farmers, millwrights, even archivists, floor installers, heavy vehicle mechanics, crane operators, paramedics and veterinarians even. Might be surprising, but those are also still very male dominated. Machinists, cabinet makers, construction managers. These are all very male dominated. Also, a lot of these tend to be kind of dangerous. You don't think of farming and ranching as dangerous necessarily, but I was just home over the weekend, and in the 3 days that I was home on the farm, we heard about a boy that died on a farm not far from where I grew up, about 40 miles up the road. He was in a grain bin and got engulfed. It's been about a year ago. I guess it was around Easter this past year when I was down. A kid got hit by a tractor on it. Like I say, a kid, like a younger guy that was working on a farm. Something went wrong, and he got hit by a tractor and died. farms and ranches are very dangerous work. The same for, like, you don't think of millwrights as being a dangerous job, but there is a lot of hazard involved in that. Machinists, heavy vehicle mechanics, crane operators, like aircraft pilots. These are high risk jobs. So it also explains the gender wage gap that is a complete farce. But the reason that males, generally speaking, make more than females on average overall is because these higher paying jobs are much, much more difficult and much, much more dangerous, and women tend to stray away from them. And interestingly enough, and maybe oddly enough, minorities also tend to avoid the high risk types of jobs. I'm sure there is a psychological study somewhere that explains why that is, or maybe it's just because, white dudes are fucking crazy. That's highly possible. I know I've always been kind of drawn to stuff that's a little more high risk, and I'm a little more of an agent of chaos and stuff where a lot of things are concerned. Maybe it's just we're wired differently, and we are more our software is more just pre-programmed for wanting to do stuff like that. It's I'm sure there are a million psychological studies that have been done that explain why it is, and nobody wants to talk about that kind of stuff. Like, statistically speaking, women and minorities are more risk averse. That's just it. And maybe it's because white males come from a position of privilege, so we can take more risks because we don't have to. You get that what is it, the net, to catch you if you fall off the tightrope or whatever. But at the end of the day, a lot of these jobs are jobs that men are just better mentally and physically prepared for. And that's it. Women don't necessarily belong in these fields, and that's fine. Again, as far as the minorities in a lot of these fields, I don't have a good explanation for it. I do know that in most of these fields, like, I don't understand I need to look up the lawsuit that they were talking about. The discrimination lawsuit. Like, I don't know of any of these jobs that are actively trying to keep anybody out based on race. It's just a simple fact of the matter that 90% of the applicants are white male. And that should be fine. The fact that they feel like there's some necessity to create incentives to get women and people of color to apply for these jobs. Like, if the job alone wasn't the incentive enough, then you're doing it for the wrong reasons, especially in something like being a firefighter. If just the desire to save people's lives and to fight fires for a living isn't your motivation, if you need some special program to incentivize that for you, that ain't for you, man. Go do something go do something else. Go be a landscaper or what the fuck ever this dude was doing beforehand. And that's the drive to push ourselves and challenge ourselves and do great, crazy, incredible, stupid shit is kind of what sets the people who excel in all of those career paths apart from people who don't belong. And and again, like maybe it is because white dudes are just crazy. I mean, I wrote a Substack about it not too long ago. For a 5% chance, I took my son to a college football game, and a kid who has been a straight D student for his entire high school career and never showed any interest in college or sports or anything like that. Suddenly he was it had something to do with the fact that it was 90 degrees that day, and there were a lot of very scantily clad co-eds on the IU campus as we were walking to and from the game. And he kind of got excited about college. He's like, what do I need to do to go to college? I was like, well, first of all, you need to start passing your fucking classes, dumbass. And then, watching the football game, I got him excited about football. He was like, maybe I'll go out for football next year. I'm like, gosh, if I knew like taking you to a college game was all it would take to get you interested in like college and football, I would have done this years ago. But like he and I got to talking about it after the game, and my wife, she was like, don't go giving that boy hope like that. She said he doesn't have a realistic shot of like getting with college girls or even really getting into college. And I was like, and like that for a guy, that doesn't matter. Like we do most of the things we do on a 5% chance that it might work out, and a 95% chance we're going to fall flat on our face and feel like a dumbass. And you know what? We will fall flat on our face, feel like a dumbass, and then we'll get up and we'll go do it again. The risk reward, the chance for greatness is what we strive for. And that's also why we go for the more high risk, high paying types of jobs. It was funny because we were watching a football game the other day, and the team went for it on fourth down. They went for a 2-point conversion instead of kicking the extra point. And my wife was like, "Why would you do that?" She's like, "You're almost guaranteed 1 point if you just kick it. Like, why are you going to go for 2 in that situation?" It's like, on average, it's a 50-50 chance. Like, you roll the dice on that, especially when you're, the team that did it they were down. They're trying to like claw their way back into the game. She's like, it just doesn't seem worth it. I was like, I know. She's like, I wouldn't do that. And I was like, I know, we've had this conversation. Like, women are less risk averse. You are more worried about the failure than the benefit of the success. There's a story about a diverse fire department showing up and someone's still in a burning house and they didn't want to go in. Finally, a white pizza delivery boy runs into the house and saves them. White dudes are just fucking crazy and less risk averse. We are willing to do the things that females and minorities are, for whatever reason, for whatever psychological reason, are just averse to doing. And that's fine. That's fine. Let's accept that it's fine that men, women, and all of the different races are different, and just allow them to do what they do or what they want to do. Why do we have to try to force diversity into every field? Diversity is not our strength. Diversity is a fucking hindrance at every turn, which is also why a lot of DEI programs are currently dying a very quick and painful death. And Lord, bring it. Yes. Thank God it's starting to happen. So I don't know. I'm not blaming California burning to the ground every year on a program that started a year ago to try to inject some diversity into their fire departments. But I'm sure it's probably not helping a whole lot. That'll do it for today. I will actually be back tomorrow talking about Elon Musk and his activities in Germany and Great Britain, and kind of influencing some politics there. Also, my regular episode will be dropping on Rumble and YouTube here in about 10 minutes. The The Spotify podcatcher version of it dropped about 20 minutes ago. And if you're on Facebook for some reason, I still am. I guess I'm holding out hope that maybe Zuck will give me the job as the new fact checker one of these days. Now that they're doing away with all of the fact checking for Facebook and going with a community notes style thing. It's also up on Facebook as well. So check out today's regular episode. We're talking about Trump's mandate and the left's screeching about said mandate. Have a good one, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Later.